Brunson versus Alto. 1976. The hand that carries his name for 50 years. Binion's horseshoe. 22 players. Winner takes all. Your heads up. $220,000 in the world title. And you look down at ten-deuce. The worst two cards in the deck. But you play them anyway. He raises. You call. Nothing unusual yet. Flop. Ace. Jack. 10. He's got ace-jack. Top two pair. You've got a pair of tens. He leads out. You shove. He calls. And why wouldn't he? Nothing about the spot looks dangerous. He's a car dealer from Corpus Christi holding the best hand in the room against a man drawing thin. Turn. A deuce. So, two pair now. Still second best. River. A 10. And just like that, the tens fill up. Tens full of deuces. A suck-out when the hand that's losing catches exactly the card it needs. Two tens left in the deck. One of them lands on the river. He plays it perfectly and loses a world title for it. 1 year later, same two cards, same full house, same title. Dwan versus Seidel, 1988. The most patient hand ever filmed. Stay with this one and you'll understand why poker keeps replaying it. Binion's horseshoe. Two players left out of 167. $700,000 to the winner. You're the defending world champion. He's 28, a backgammon player in his first serious tournament. Nobody watching can see the cards yet. This is before hole card cameras. You look down at Jack 9 of clubs. Flop, Queen, 8, 10. And that's the nut straight. Queen, Jack, 10, 9, 8. Nothing in the deck beats it. But he's got a queen. Top pair. He checks. You bet 40,000. He raises to 90. So you call. Standard heads up pot. Nothing in the betting looks strange. Turn. A deuce. And he checks again. Here's where you do nothing at all. You check it back. A slow play. Hiding a monster so a weaker hand keeps betting into it. To him, that check is surrender. River. A 6. And he shoves. He's got top pair against a champion who just gave up on the hand. So it's the easiest shove of his life. But you call before his chips have settled. Jack 9. The straight you flopped and never bet. He's been drawing dead since the flop, and he's the last man in the room to find out. And back-to-back world titles. 10 years later, Hollywood films the hand shot for shot. The man who lost it turns into a legend of his own. He bets everything into the one hand in the deck that can't lose. Nguyen versus McBride. 1998. One sentence talks a man out of $1 million. Last hand of the main event, Binion's horseshoe. $1 million for whoever walks out with it. You're the chip leader with a beer in your hand. He's an amateur with about 600,000 left. Jack 9 in your hand. He raises. You call. Flop. 9, 9, 8. He bets. You call. Turn. An 8. He bets again. And you call again. River. Another 8. So now the board is a full house all by itself. And 8's full of 9s. It's lying there in the middle of the table, playing for both of you. Everything looks settled. To him, it's a chop at worst. You push it all in. He starts to think it over. And instead of sitting quiet, you talk. Table talk, using words inside a hand to steer what a man does. You call. It's gonna be all over, baby. He hears a bluff being sold too hard. He calls, and he says the line that ends his tournament. I call. I play the board. Except there's a 9 in your hand. 9's full of 8s. A bigger boat than the one lying on the table. He says afterwards he folds if you keep your mouth shut. One sentence, $1 million. Moneymaker versus Farha. 2003. The bluff that builds the modern game. Binion's horseshoe, heads up, and the winner takes $2.5 million. You're an accountant from Tennessee who got here through an $86 satellite. You've never played a live tournament in your life. He's a Las Vegas cash pro with an unlit cigarette in his mouth. You look down at King 7. You raise. He calls. Flop. 9, 2, 6, 2 spades. He's got Queen 9. Top pair. King high with 1 spade. You both check. Nothing happens. It's the quietest flop of the night. Turn. The 8 of spades. And now there are 3 spades out, and both of you are drawing at them. He's got his pair and a queen high flush draw. You've got a king high flush draw and an open ender. He bets 300,000. You raise to 800. He calls. River. The 3 of hearts. Everything misses. His flush is dead. Your flush is dead. Your straight's dead too. And you've got king high and nothing else in the world. He checks. So you move all in for everything. He tanks. He talks. He looks at you for a long time. You must have missed your flush draw, huh? He's right, and he only knows it because he's been chasing the same spades you have. His own draw bricked on that same river. So he decides an amateur can't be firing a whole tournament at nothing. And he folds. Top pair goes in the muck. The best hand at the table laid down to a man holding king high. He never gets the chip led back. One fold and the game is never the same again. Dwan versus Ivey. 2009. A number television has never put on a screen. A cash game in London, filmed for a show that airs months later. More than $2 million sitting on the table between three men. You're an online kid nobody outside the internet has heard of. He's the best player in the world and everybody knows it. You pick up 7-6 of hearts. You raise. He re-raises. You call. Flop. Queen. 3. 5. He bets 40,000. You call. Two big stacks betting a queen high flop. Ordinary night in that room. Turn. A 4. And that's the nut straight. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. But he's got ace deuce. And he's just made a straight of his own, but only the small one. He bets. You raise to 240,000. He jams it all in. He's holding a straight against a kid who's been calling him all night. There's no version of this where he lets it go. So you call instantly. That's a cooler. A huge hand walking straight into a bigger one. Then the river, a jack. It changes nothing because nothing could. And $1.1 million. Nobody watching has ever seen a pot that size. One card makes two straights. Yours is the bigger one. Affleck versus Duhamel. 2010. This is the beat that breaks a man on camera. Day 8 of the main event. 15 players left. You're second in chips. A young pro who has already gone deep here once. He's first. A Canadian in his early 20s. Aces. 2 of them. He raises. You 3-bet. He 4-bets. And you call. Flop. 10, 9, 7. He checks. You bet 5 million. He calls. He's got jacks and a straight draw. Turn. The queen of diamonds. He checks again. You move all in for 11.6 million. And he calls with the worst of it. Here the hand is finished. Aces against jacks. All the money in the middle. One card to come. Everything about this is over. You're a 79% favorite. You already know you're good. You're thinking about the chip lead and about everything a stack like that turns into. He needs a king or an 8. And here's where it all comes apart. River. The 8 of diamonds. And the straight gets there. That's a bad beat. The money goes in as a huge favorite and loses anyway. Here is where a run at the world title ends. One card. You sit there and you can't make yourself stand up. Then you walk off the floor in tears with the cameras following you the whole way out. 15th place. $500,000. He goes on to win the whole thing for nearly $9 million. 79%. And the other guy wins. Robbi versus Adelstein. 2022. The most examined call in the history of the game. By the end of this hand, you'll see why nobody has ever settled it. A cash game in Gardena, California, streamed live. He's one of the most feared cash players in the country, sitting behind $800,000. You're a newcomer, a recreational player. Jack 4 offsuit. You straddle. He raises. And you call. Flop. 10, 10, 9. 2 clubs. He's got 8, 7 of clubs. A flush draw, a straight draw, and a straight flush draw. You've got Jack high. He bets. You call. Turn. A 3. It's a brick. His draw is dead. He's got 8 high. He bets 10,000. You raise to 20. And up to here, this is an ordinary hand. A respected pro betting a big draw. A recreational player calling him down. Nothing about it looks strange. However, he doesn't check and he doesn't fold. He moves all in for everything you've got. $109,000 to call with Jack high. No pair, no draw, a bluff catcher, a hand that beats a lie and nothing else. He's shoving into a player who can never call him there. That's the whole point of the shove. You don't have shit with Jack high, and you call. You agree to run the river twice, dealing it out and then dealing it again. First one, a 9. Second one, an ace. Neither one changes anything. Jack high takes $269,000. He asks how. Then he asks it in public, and then he accuses you of cheating. So an investigation follows. Cybersecurity people, lawyers, months of interviews. It finds no direct evidence of cheating. Later, away from the table, you hand $135,000 back to him. But nobody agrees on why. He believes what he believes. The report says what it says. Nobody has been able to explain it since. Dwan versus Faye. 2023. The biggest pot ever shown. And it comes down to one quiet call. Los Angeles. A cash game streamed live. At a table full of men who do this for a living. You've got about $1.5 million in front of you, and you're the veteran now, years on from the pots that made your name. He's a crypto investor 1.5 years into poker, and he bets like it. 2 black queens. Someone opens. He 3-bets. You 4-bet. He comes back at you for $275,000. So you call. Earlier in the hand, he flashed his cards by accident, and the player who saw them announced it at the table. Flop. 8, 8, 3. He bets. You call. A paired board and 2 enormous stacks. Ordinary big game poker. Nobody watching even knows what you have. Your cards never made it onto the screen. Even the commentary booth is guessing. Turn, a 5. He fires again. And you call again. River, a 6. Nothing has changed since the flop. You've still got 1 pair, On a board that has been paired the whole way, he moves all in for 786,000. He's got ace-king. Nothing behind it at all. 3 barrels at a man he's certain can't call with 1 pair, and he isn't wrong to think it. And almost nobody calls there. You're not beating an 8. You're not beating a bigger pair. You're beating a bluff, or you're beating nothing. And now comes the part everybody remembers. $3 million in the middle, and you sit there for 4 minutes. Every bet he's made in this hand says he has you beaten. Take a moment before I tell you what you do. But most players never make this call in their lives. You call. A pair of queens, and it's good. $3.1 million. The largest pot in the history of televised poker. That's a hero call. Calling an enormous bet with a small hand because you can hear the lie. He tells you afterwards that he was betting on the pot being too big for you to call. Then he posts about it himself and calls it the biggest bluff in poker history. 14 years earlier, in a room in London, you turned over the best hand in the deck and there was nothing left to decide. Back then, you made the hand. This time, you just make the call.